This movie is one of the most revered and talked about movies, not only when discussing comic book films, but cinema in general. So, when addressing the inevitable thought of what could have possibly possessed me to tackle such a humongous task, let me make this apparent from the beginning. I know that this movie has been talked to death about, and that basically every aspect of it has been thoroughly explored multiple times over. I know this. Yet, while watching it recently for probably the 100th time, the flame inside of me reignited once again, especially during one scene. The opening bank robbery. And so, with caution, I've decided to give my take on it and break down this iconic opening to one of the best movies ever made. So, without further ado, let's talk about The Door.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
While I could make a 10-hour-long essay discussing this masterpiece of a film, I've chosen to rather focus my attention on its opening act, the bank robbery. This, in my opinion, is the best opening scene in any movie to date. Honestly, from a story perspective, a directorial one, an editing one, especially a soundtrack one, it takes the cake. So let's discuss the impact of it. We all know what goes down in the scene. I won't waste any time going over simple details. If you haven't seen it already, then just get off of this video, get off the internet, you know what, and just climb under that ginormous rock you've been calling your home, you monster. Whew! Sorry about that. Let's dive deeper than the simple occurrences happening on screen and truly look at what's being shown to us. At face value, this is a simple robbery. Sure, you can see it that way, only it's not. The Joker, throughout the scene, disguises himself as one of his mindless goons. What does this tell us? Not only that he enjoys the thrill of actually doing the dirty work, but that he hides in plain sight. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sure, the bank robbers aren't exactly sheep as far as the analogy goes, but the Joker is actively blending in obscurity while secretly orchestrating the chaos surrounding him. The mob has no idea what's coming, neither does the city or the world as a whole, yet he's been there the entire time, planning, waiting, puppeteering things to go exactly how he wants it to. He does it in this scene, foreshadowing how he'll continue to do it for the rest of his reign of terror and for the rest of the film. In fact, this entire scene acts as one big foreshadowing exercise, revealing to us tiny tidbits of information that predict what is to come later on. The assailants are under orders to nick each other off as they complete their various tasks, symbolizing how the Joker has upset the balance of order and with that, the criminal's sick, twisted sense of honor. By making them kill each other off, he's playing on their sense of greed, but also their deeper instincts of betrayal. And if we know anything about the Joker, he loves to bring out the worst in people. He tried to do this with Batman later on.
I have one rule.
Oh, then that's the rule you'll have to break to know the truth.
Which is?
The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules. And tonight you're gonna break your one rule.
And of course, the clearest example is with Harvey Dent as he brought out his inner rage and ugly tendencies. The point is that in this opening scene, we see that in play, a hint of what's to come. One of the robbers catches on to this actually and fancies himself ahead of the curve.
I'm betting the Joker told you to kill me as soon as we loaded the cash.
Only for the Joker to outsmart him.
No, I killed a bus driver.
And prove once again that he is always one step ahead. This is his game, and just when you think you've got him, he reminds you of who's really in control. The scene ends with the Joker escaping by blending in with a sea of school buses as the police zoom by, unsuspectingly, mirroring not only the start of the scene, but also his entire ideology and tactics. He hides in plain sight. It's worth it to mention how he does this yet again later on when he disguises himself as a policeman, or when he fools the SWAT teams by disguising his henchmen as hostages, again in plain sight. Let's talk about that soundtrack. Hans Zimmer, man, the man's a damn genius. Scout's honor, he really is. And let's not forget that James Newton Howard was involved in the soundtrack as well, but I believe that Zimmer is mainly responsible for the Joker's theme, which is predominant in this particular scene. So throughout the entire piece, his music flows through and provides a stable yet chaotic symphony to all of the madness. His soundtrack, especially in this scene, is less of a piece of music, but rather a living, breathing, pulsating organism that mimics the action on screen with rock beats and organized anarchy. He starts silently, slowly building up the tension with a single note, ever so slightly, building. Then later on it returns. only to be abruptly stopped by a jumble of action. Badass. Damn badass. It's hard to focus on the soundtrack of a film at times, I understand that. Most audience members don't actually and regard it simply as background music when it's so much more, especially in this case, the opening scene and heck the entire movie. When you've got Hansi Boy in charge, damn are you in for a treat. Here's a section of it with the action actually muted and the music brought up. Badass. This scene flows due to the direction, the editing, the music, the story. The dialogue is an entire different beast, but I'll let you watch that over again for yourself. Listen to what they're saying, and then bask in the glory of realizing just how much you missed out the first few times when you weren't paying extra attention. This film is a masterpiece. A literal masterpiece, and while I personally struggle to award any film the title of my favorite movie ever, I'll be damned if this doesn't come extremely close. The Dark Knight, and especially its opening act, is a symphony of chaos. Well guys, those are my thoughts on The Dark Knight. What a colossal project. I was actually scared talking about this movie because of how big it is, and especially in pop culture, not only with movie fans, comic book fans, but just in cinema in general. It's quite a revered movie. So talking about it is scary. But if you guys have enjoyed this video, definitely leave a like down below, as well as share it with all your mates, as well as all of your Dark Knight fans or Dark Knight friends. If you can start some sort of community like that, which I'm sure there are 50 billion of them, Reddit threads and all sorts of stuff like that. Besides the point, I'm getting off topic. Subscribe down below if you want to see more video essays. We're producing them almost on a weekly basis, as well as turn on the notification bell if you want to be notified with the release of every new video. On the end screen of this video, I will leave some of our previous video essays. For example, our previous one about Rocky and Creed, and the one before that about Die Hard. Otherwise guys, hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.